This is Unit 4, Lesson 10, Number 2. I'm filming this in 2 separate screencasts because YouTube only allows you to upload something worth 20 minutes. So this is the second problem. If you have a graphing calculator, whether it's a TI-83 or an Inspire, there are video tutorials on Lesson 10's date showing you how to find the exponential regression equation for these. I'm going to happen to be using Desmos during this demonstration and during these problems. So number 2, it says Jean invested $380 in stocks. Over the next 5 years, the value of her investment grew, as shown in the table. The first thing we need to do is we need to graph the table, or graph the ordered pairs on the table. So for my x's, which is the years since investment, let's label this years. What's going on with my pen? There we go. Oops. There we go. Alright, so let's label this one years. This is our x-axis. And then the y-axis is the value or the money that's in her account. So for my x-axis, my minimum number is 0 and my maximum number is 5. So 0, 0 has to go in the corner, of course, where the origin belongs. And then I do have 10 spaces or 10 tick marks I can fill. So I actually will have enough if I skip and mark every other one. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 years. Now for the money, or the y-axis, it goes from 380 to 462. So I probably want to make it all the way up to 500, and I still have 10 spaces to fill out. So 500 is which I want to make it up to, divided by my 10 spaces would be counting by 50s. So we have 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, and then 450, 500. Let's get these babies on the graph. Alright, so 0, 380, 1, 395. I shouldn't be making these so big because there's not much room to grow with. Oops, and I put that in the wrong spot. Let me erase these first two. And I'm going to go to a smaller pen size. Here we go, here we go. Alright, 0, 380, 1, 395, so that's a little bit closer to 400, 2, 411, 3, 427, 4, 445, and, oh, dirty dogs, I did it again. 445, and then 5, 462. So these don't super look like an exponential function. When we get to Desmos, I can zoom out and show you that it certainly is. So we just got these on the graph. And now what I need to do is move on and answer the next questions. So it doesn't matter if you do it on Desmos or with the graphing calculator, you're going to get the same A and B value. So let me remind you that an exponential function is y equals A times b to the x, and that Desmos or your graphing calculator will allow you to put in these ordered pairs and give you the exponential regression or the a and b value that it takes to write this exponential function. So let me switch to good old Desmos. We're going to enter our ordered pairs right up here. We're going to enter a table. You can use your computer's keyboard. I have to use this keypad. So my first one was 0, 380. Then we have 1, 395. Then we have 2, 411, 3, 427. It would go a lot faster with your keyboard. 4, 445, and then 5, 462. All right, I'm going to go ahead and mess with now the settings because I don't see any of my ordered pairs because they're up in the 3 and 400s. So let's go and let's, I'm going to have to show my keypad again. My wrench. So here I go from 0 to 5 on the x-axis. So let's go from -1 and see till about 7. Y, I'm gonna start down at 0 so I get a glimpse of the whole picture. And then our maximum value for y is 462, so let's go up to 500. And then all of a sudden you can go ahead and you can see our ordered pairs. They don't super look exponential, like an exponential function, but let's have Desmos draw the graph for us, and they're just finding the best exponential function to fit this data set. So again, to have it graph and write the exponential function for us, we're going to go to the second line. We're going to put y1 because our table up top uses x1 and y1, so we need to make sure to communicate that we're talking about that table. I'm going to find the approximate button here under the ABC menu. Right? You can find it on your keyboard. It's directly to the left of 1, but you have to hit shift first. And this is A times B, and you can go ahead and use the little caret button on your keyboard, which is above 6, so shift 6, and it will put the cursor in the exponent spot. Here I'm going to use A to B since I have to rely on the keypad, and my exponent's not just x, it's x1. Let me hide my keypad now, and you can see now I have my A value and I have my B value. And even if you use the TI-83 or 4 or Inspire, you will see that you get the same A value or B value. Before we move on to the writing the equation and then answering a question based on the equation, let me zoom out and show you, show you that in fact this is an exponential function. So the part we were just seeing was just a section of that, but this baby certainly is exponential. All right, back to our Word document, and A is 379.92. The directions say round to the nearest hundred. B is 1.04. So our equation is y equals A 379.92 times b 1.04 to the x power. And now I'm going to use this equation to answer a question down below. So using this equation, find the number of years it will take Jean's stock to be valued at 500. Well, Jean's stock value is my y. So I'm going to be replacing y, or substituting y, into my equation and solving for x, because x is representative of the year. And I need to find how many years. So it's going to be 500, that's what I'm substituting, equals 379.92 times 1.04 to the x power. So I'm solving for x. X is trapped in the exponent spot, which means eventually I'm going to have to untrap it. I need to isolate the base and the exponent first, which means I need to move a multiplied 379.92 by dividing by 379.92. Golden rule, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So 500 divided by 379.92 is 1.3, and that equals 1.04 to the x power. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do two steps in one. Actually, no, I won't. The next thing I'm going to do, because to untrap the exponent or the variable from the exponent spot, I have to use the power rule, which requires me to log both sides. So I'm going to log both sides. At that point, I can move the x from the power spot to the coefficient spot, and I'm going to be able to solve. Because x is a coefficient, coefficients are connected with multiplication, and to move multiplication, I divide by what is multiplied. So I'm dividing both sides by the log of 1.04, and so x is going to equal the log of 1.3 divided by the log of 1.04, and it tells me to round to the nearest 10th year, so it's going to be 6.7 years it will take in order for her money to be valued at $500. Alright, this concludes the notes. Your job is actually to complete numbers 3 and 4 of the same packet and ask questions if you have them. Thank you very much.